you what though, boy oh boy. Oh man! The thrower blanket over them. But it's battle stations, white flag comes out. She's on for young and old, this one.
Has he got the job done? Looks like he has on the inside.
The pace is electric out in front.
Definitely a lot of rain here in Cromwell this week. But looking out at the surface now, talking to some of the drivers and the track team, they're looking for a very, very fast night. So we'll keep an eye on those lap times to see what happens. But we'll just wait for these cars to do a bit more wheel packing. It's up to Travis to decide whether he is happy with how the surface is going. He may even turn to the drivers and ask them for a thumbs up, thumbs down scenario. If they all give the thumbs up, he's happy to go. If it's no, it's thumbs down. They will keep circulating until they feel the surface is in a safe state to run on. So a little bit of responsibility there given to the drivers as much as anything else. Travis holding up the one lap signal, letting the drivers know. In fact, there might be a car missing from position 2. No, 75 is moving up. Thought he might have been leaving a bit of a spare space there, but he's moving up into position. Braden Cooper looks like he's on the inside of row number 3. Watch him, he's always reasonably exciting as he leaves the blocks as they come round now through turn number 3, heading for 4, waiting for the green to go. Green flag right down here in front of us in the commentary position. Waiting to go, green light, green flag in the way and racing. And Spooner's got a great start as he heads down to turn number 1, followed reasonably closely there by Greg. There's a little bit of a tossing going back there. Oh, Braden Cooper looks like he may have lost a little bit of position as he headed through into that corner. They've all got through safely down to 3, heading into 4 now, and it's definitely Spooner out the front doing an absolutely fantastic job. Chased long and hard by Finn Cleveland. New paint job this year for the 8i car. Finn Cleveland slots himself nicely there into 3rd place. Stronach looks like he's picked up number 4. Braden Cooper in 5, back to Evans in 6th position. Then we've got Gordon, but it is definitely, looks like he is well and truly out in front. And in fact, coming up on there, it says it's Manson in that car out the front, the 7C car. So a little bit different than what the program says. We'll have to double check that later on, make sure it's not an entry problem, but it's definitely 7C out in front by a good stretch now. Greg, then back to Cleveland. Stronach. Looks like Finn Cleveland is doing all he can to try to get back there into 2nd position. Wee bit of smoke coming from that car out of the left-hand side. Maybe just a little bit of oil on the exhaust. Hopefully it's nothing too major. It doesn't seem to be hindering him in any sort of way. But as we watch 7C go across the stripe, it's a 16.8 fastest person out there on the track as we watch Cleveland slide down through 2 into 2nd position. Manages to get in front of Greg as they head down the front straight. And it looks like that Stronach is going to want to go as well. Braden Cooper round the outside as they come through 4 and down into 1. But it's definitely 7C that's nearly got a hole straight away in it now. Everybody else just filing in behind. 6th place, Evans is being hounded by Keith. Gordon's dropped back at least 1. And then we go back to Shane Cooper in the 36T car. Everybody seems to be behaving reasonably well out there tonight. as we watch. Cleveland's got a lot of work to do to try to make up. Jack Cleveland out there as well, flying, and you'll see on the back of the 5T car, there's looks like a bit of cloth on the roll cage. That's just indicating it's a new driver. It's a rookie driver out there tonight. I wouldn't say too much of a rookie. He's doing a pretty good job out there to keep a few of those cars in front of them fairly honest. As we watch the 7C car pick up another lap. That's lap number 8. This one's touted for 10. So we've got a couple to go. Cleveland looked, that's Finn Cleveland, I'll have to say now. Jack's in the field as well. Finn Cleveland is making inroads into the 7C car. Let's see past this time to see who's the quickest of the two. And it's definitely Finn Cleveland on a 16.7. 7C car is on a 16.8. So not much in it. He's making a little bit of time up as we watch Stronach fighting with Braden Cooper, the 3rd and 4th. Greg falling back into 5th. It looks like he's falling back again. Maybe a little bit of a problem with the car there. We'll have to watch as it comes round. It's very flat through the corners. There's not a lot of attitude to it, so maybe a little bit of a problem there. But he's just falling back into the clutches of the back markers. Evans goes past him without too much of a problem as the checkered flag comes out. So yeah, definitely a problem there for the 75C car of Greg. But what a great run by 7C. We'll double check the driver in that car. Followed home by Finn Cleveland, then back to Stronach. Braden Cooper managed to hold on to 4th position. Then we go back to Greg in 5th, Evans in 6th position, Shane Cooper in 8th position, then the Gordons in 8th and 9th, and then Jack Cleveland, first outing out there in 10th position. Great run by the young fella. And lap times will show that actually Finn Cleveland was definitely the fastest driver out there on a 16.7. Followed by 7C. It says it's Manson in the car on a 16.8. And then we see that Braden Cooper was the next fastest driver out there on a 17.1. So I think a little bit of work to do there by some of the drivers, see if they can catch the ever-quick 7C and the 6 shooters. So back on track with the youth mini stocks. This is an excellent class, and one of the good reasons for it is a stepping stone into the other categories racing here at the heavy track Central Motor Speedway. A great example of that, a youngster I've just talked about in the 6 shooters, Jack Cleveland, started out in the youth mini stocks, has obviously made the step up to the bigger engine, bigger horsepower car. So we're looking at 12 to 16 year olds out there at the moment. So if you're interested in getting involved in Speedway as a youngster, you can get out there and show what you've got if you are 12 to 16 years old. 1200cc powered Nissan or Toyota engines in these cars. Very, very evenly matched as we just wait for Travis to give us the thumbs up to say we're ready to go, and we will be away very, very quickly. They are off and running. And it's the Adam Evans, the man that always seems to be the one that beat here, who is out in front. But a car to look for is the 91 car, the black and green car, as it makes its way through the field. Luke Erskine had an absolute sensational drive here last time. His dad and himself have done some work on the engine and just tuned it up a little bit better and found some real pace as we watch him heading round the outside of 4 wide into turn 4 as they head down towards turn 1. And there he goes. Lucas Erskine is making an absolute marvellous job of going round basically the outside of everybody, which is the long way round, but he's doing a fantastic job of it as we watch Adam Evans out in the front. And he's definitely going to be a hard man to beat here tonight, although he's coming under some pressure from the 15D car as we watch them heading round down into turn 1 and 2. He's got all the pressure on him now as we watch a few of the usual suspects with Smarty in the 58 car heading down towards turn number 3 now. He's got Erskine on the outside of him. It's, as I said, it's a long way round, but he's making a great job of keeping it very, very smooth. And you'll see the difference here, losing about a car length to the 58T car as he heads down into turn 1 and 2. That's a battle that's starting to open up behind them. Cameron Reedy in the very, very well presented 22T car. It's been a different paint job for this season for him. And then we go back to Scott in the 13T. So another small battle looming there as we watch Adam Evans just get a bit of a break as he heads down towards turn 1 and 2, starting to rut up between 1 and 2. So the driver's got to be a little bit careful in there not to get too sideways. We've seen these cars on their side reasonably quickly down through there. So we'll just have to keep an eye, make sure they're keeping it all clean. Colvin out there in the 42 T car, a little bit lonely at the moment as we watch Erskine just try to get past Marty. He goes left, right, takes the inside line, round one, makes the move stick as he heads out of two. And at the front, it looks like it's going to be a three-way battle between Adam Evans and a couple cars that are encroaching very, very quickly on him. He's managing to hold it through lap number 6. So not many to go for them. He's going to have to make a bit of a move in the 15D car. Just have to double check the driver in that one as well. Looks like it's Anderton in the 15D car from Dunedin who's doing the job in second position at the moment. But both under pressure as they head down into turn 3, heading into turn 4 now. They're going to not quite make the back markers as a white flag comes out, signalling the last lap. Adam Evans has got about 450 metres to keep it clean and keep it out there straight and in the right position. And that's the first one he likes. But Lucas Erskine, what a great job he's done to catch up on the back of this train as we watch Anderton lose a place. Lucas might just pick up one here. No, looks like he's going to have to stick it home in fourth position. No, he gets 4th. So Adam Evans doing a great job to the checkered flag to keep it nice and clean. He'll pick up the maximum points for that. 20 points for the win here in the youth mini stocks. Coming home after him, it seemed to be Anderton. And then we went back to 58, Mr. Smart. But we'll just have to check. Some of the transponders don't look like they're actually working here at the moment. So a little bit difficult to see if these times are exactly right. I noticed Lucas Erskine's transponder's not working out there at the moment. I say he definitely would have been the fastest competitor on the track there. But going by what we've got in the timing, it was Anderton who was the quickest with a 21.8. Then we had Adam Evans with a 21.89. So not much in it. And then we went back to Ben Smart, it said, was the next fastest on a 22.0. So as I said, some of these cars haven't got their transponders going. So we'll just have to keep an eye out and judge them off the other. And I think it was actually Finch. He's got a new paint job this year in the 18D car. He was home there in 3rd position. So we'll just keep a check on that with the Midas Speedway New Zealand race control and the race officials and see if they can bring us up to speed on some of these classes. We have 10. So obviously someone hasn't made it out. No, here we go. Just waiting for Jason Gold to come out in the 88D car. So we've got the local lads. We've got 7T, Iden Murdoch, 8T, James Robinson. First time around the track for the season for James Robinson. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Phil Burgess in the 15T car. 21T, Graham Williamson, the X Factor sponsored car, does a lot for Speedway. Great to see Graham out there at the moment. Mike Verdona, 25T, always spectacular to watch. He's out there travelling around at the moment. And some of our friends from outside of town, we have Matt Green, a long-time campaigner here in Cromwell in the 59D car. New body shape this year, went away from the AU Falcon, it's taken on the Mustang look. As I said, 88D, Jason Gold circulating out there in the NARC blue car. Then 33D is Shane Greer, also from Dunedin. Terry Soper in the number 8D car, a man to watch. And then more Phillips. We have Raymond Phillips in the 17D and George Phillips in the 47D. That is your field at the moment. So we're looking at some cars that are, well, not really the baby brothers of the Super Saloons, but they certainly, what they term them as is they are a Super Saloon without the bells and whistles. And they say they are a cheaper car to run, but they are no less exciting, and we can't wait to see just as what they're going to be like as they start to wind themselves up around the heavy tracks, Central Motor Speedway. They're getting the one-lap signal from Travis. They reckon they're about 1 to 1.5 seconds slower than the Super Saloon, so we'll keep an eye on those times. It was about a 16.8 last time, or sorry, a 16.04 that Ian Burson had. So let's see what the Saloon cars can do. They've obviously got less horsepower, 450 to 500 horsepower. So as we wait to see them coming around now, looks like we have Matt Green on the outside of the track. He's a man that will control the start as we wait for the green flag to drop. Everyone's happy. The green flag, green lights, and they are off and running. And it looks like Raymond Phillips has got a great start out in front. He's got Ivan Murdoch right behind him in the 7T car. So they've got a bit of a challenge going on out the front. Phil Burgess doing great to slot himself up into third. And there's Mike Verdona, always exciting to watch in the 25T car. He wants fourth position as Matt Green gets swallowed up round the outside by some of these cars, doing a great job on the low line. There's 21T, Graham Williamson, also doing a great job out there to slot into fifth position. Terry Soper, he's going to be the man to watch in this one for me. He's now in fifth position, but it's definitely Phillips out in front. Raymond Phillips in the 17D car from Dunedin. Ivan Murdoch, new chassis this year for Ivan. It's great to see him out there giving it his all. He said it's a bit of a learning curve from the car he's campaigned for so many years, but he is absolutely loving it. A car he never dreamed he would own, and dreams do come true because he's out there racing it in front of you tonight as he's holding on a second position from a hard charging Phil Burgess. Phil's done a lot of racing lately. He's just come back from Ashburton with a couple of seconds at a first, so he's got the bit between his teeth there in third position as we watch Mike Verdona struggling a little bit back there in fourth, but he's making a charge at Burgess through 3 and 4. Terry Soper wants around the outside of all of them, but I'm not sure that one's going to stick, although he looks like he's got a fairly good run down to turn one, still gets stuck out on the high side and manages just to get round the outside of Mike Verdona. So up into fourth position for Soper. So it's Raymond Phillips, Ivan Murdoch, back to Phil Burgess, who was under fire from both Verdona and Soper. And Soper looks like he's going to try the same trick. He gets pushed out towards a wall, but he makes it stick. He's going to go right round the outside of turn number 2 and fire himself firmly into third position. Phil's got nothing back at him, although he makes a little bit of a lunge through 3 and 4. Ivan Murdoch next in Soper's sight. But it's definitely Raymond Phillips out there in the front, the 17D car. He's probably got 5-6 on it as he goes through turn number 2, heading down to 3. And Soper goes round the outside. As we said, it'll be interesting to see for the pole shuffle later on, which is the fastest line. Soper a little bit out of shape through 3 and 4. Doesn't seem to hurt him. Takes Ivan Murdoch down into turn number 1. So that demotes Ivan Murdoch back to third, and Verdona gets past Burgess as he has a bit of a moment down there in turn number 2. So we've got Raymond Phillips back to Soper, then we've got Murdoch under fire from Verdona as they come through turn number 3. Then we go back to Phil Burgess, who has a very quick George Phillips on the back of his bumper, but he's managing to hold him off. Graham Williamson wants a bit of a fight in that tussle as well as they head down now towards what will be, I believe, the last lap. Yep, last lap, white flag coming out. So Raymond Phillips has got, again, about 400 metres to hold it all together from a hard charging Soper. Can Terry Soper in the 8D car get anywhere closer to him? Now as they head down into turn number 3, I don't think he's going to do it. This will be all held for where they're going to finish. And it is a great drive by Raymond Phillips in the 17D car to keep control of that race. He's got a hard charging Terry Soper right behind him. Then coming next was in fact Ivan Murdoch, hold off Verdona. Then we go back to Phillips, who had a great run in the 47D car. Phil Burgess lost a couple there, probably put the commentator's curse on him after saying he had such a great run up in Ashburton the other day. He's currently leading their club championship by about 60 points. So he wants to go up there and run some of the bigger races, but he needs to qualify in to get in there. So he's done about 3 meetings up there in Ashburton. So yeah, sorry about that, Phil. I'll come and apologise to you later on. And we look up there on the scoreboard to see who had the fastest lap, and you could just throw a blanket over it. I'll tell you that much. In fact, it was. Oh, it wasn't even Phillips. It was Terry Soper. Look at that. Terry Soper on a 17.4, followed home by Verdona on a 17.5. And then we're going to go back to both Murdoch and Raymond Phillips on a 17.66. So there you go, folks. It's not far off. That's about 1.4, 1.5 seconds slower. So they do tell a true story, the saloon car drivers, when they say it's 1 to 1.5 seconds. Well, a great start for Raymond Phillips. Maximum points well out in front and going the opposite direction, as you would noticed. They say Speedway is only to turn left, but these are going to turn right. They are some guests here tonight, and it's great to see them in all their glory. The street stocks, South Island street stocks. So we'll be looking for some pretty hard out action from this group. And in front of me, I don't actually have a grid for these. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to tell you too much about the drivers the first time we've seen them here in a while. But they are always exciting to watch. This is where there's a little bit of biff and bang. And there's some pretty gnarly looking front bumpers on a lot of these cars. So we'll just wait to see exactly what happens. Similar formation that you see from the youth mini stocks as Travis heads down the line of cars to make sure they're all bumper to bumper. No one's going to get a bit of an advantage in this one. So we'll just wait for the big thumbs up from the back there. And Travis does as he gets off the track reasonably quickly. And we'll watch these South Island street stocks get away. And they're launched. Now there's no friends held here as the X-Factor car heads out there in the front. Everybody playing nicely as they head. Oh, 417 off on the infield. Looks like he might just slide. Oh, it just manages to hold it. It's a fair bit of smoke coming from Lot, the 3NZ car. A whole heap of smoke coming from that car as it heads down into what would be turn one, going the wrong direction. So we'll just have to keep an eye and see if that gets any worse. Looks bad. Oh, a bit of contact. And 47D unceremoniously turned round as he headed down backwards. Fern 4. 17D goes the same way, the Falcon. So already a bit of biffo going out there on the track as 34I. Henderson manages to hold it nice and cleanly. Chased down very hard by, looks like, Hooton in the panel van, the Falcon panel van. 74D from Dunedin. But in fact, yes, the 3NZ car of Lot heads to the infield. That was a little bit more terminal than first thought, I would imagine. It was a whole heap of smoke as they head down now. Oh, a bit of a biffo straight in the wall. No love lost there from the Aussie Spears 31 car. Puts 47D, who's already been in the wars tonight, as we want a bit more action going on down there in turn 3 and 4, or 4 and 3. It's around the other way. 4 cars involved in trying to knock each other cleanly out of the track as we watch Henderson managing to get round for another lap, fairly unscathed. A few of the other cars starting to line each other up. The 74 car of Houghton is looking like he's on a bit of a charge. The big old panel van heading down into turn 3, onto turn number 4 is another retiree. 615 Knox heads to the infield. A car from Dunedin. Looks like it's a left rear puncher for that car. That's the last thing you need is a puncher carving up the surface of the track. We're trying to keep it as smooth as possible. And you certainly don't want to plough out there, making a real mess. Everybody seems to like they've just calmed down a little bit. Henderson still the man out in front. Got a bit of clear air as we want some more contact going down in turn number 2 and through to number 1. It's the 88D car and the 31V, and a big tap by the Aussie Spears car. Sees the 88D car on the infield. So there was no love lost in that one. As we watch a couple of cars slowing as they head down the front straight. The 46 and 47 car. Bit of tactics going on over on the front straight. And they're away again now. Oh, a bit of a touch there. 73D in the back of 48. There's a fair bit of bodywork starting to hang off some of these cars and watch it go past. The 46D car looks like a puncher in the left rear for 47D. So we'll just have to see if that car heads to the infield. 8 laps down, white flag out, 1 to go as we watch a car spun. 555. Laverton has been parked, just going into turn number 4. Steam pouring out of the front of that car. But it looks like Henderson's only got 1 more corner and he's holding it all together. And he's going to get the checkered flag for race number 1, followed home by 74D. And it says that 73D will bring it home in 3rd position, and he does. So a little bit of attrition out there in the first race for the street stocks. There was certainly nothing nice about some of the contact out there. It's all a part of the game that these cars play. So we'll have to wait and see if there's payback coming in the next one that will be heading our way a little bit later. But up next, our very own production cars. And they, I should imagine, will play a lot nicer because they are definitely a non-contact sport, unlike the street stocks which you've seen out in front of you at the moment. So, production cars, what are they? Well, they're cars that would normally be heading for the wrecker's yard. And these competitors have lovingly brought them back to life, taken everything out of the inside of them that weighs anything or it could be unsafe, including all of the glass. They put a bit of mesh in the front windscreen to help with the clay that comes through. They also have to put some safety roll cage in, as well as a safety seat. So it's got, these cars have as much safety equipment in them as any other category running here. That's what it's all about, making sure the drivers are looked after if there is a bit of an incident. So, the man that has been the one to beat all of last season, and certainly showed the way in the previous round here, would have to be Jeff Friend. Now, I managed to catch up with Jeff after that race meeting and have a bit of a chat with him. And he said, look, it's been great this season. He said he's got Ron Cooley in the 21T car giving him a bit of a hard time. He says it's great. He says it pushes me harder. And he said, I want to win more now than ever. So watch the 11T car, Jeff Friend, and the 21G car, Ron Cooley. Not sure exactly where they're starting. Looks like from the dummy good around about midfield. As you watch some of the other cars heading out onto the track. So, Brad McTaggart heads out in the 86T car, followed by Brad McGee, another newbie to this class, who had a great run last time in the 89T car. And I didn't check. It says it's Fetu in the 616T car. Last week we had one of the local plumbers, Jonathan, had a bit of a run in that car and did towards the end of the meeting very, very well. I'm not sure if he's hooked enough to buy himself his own car, but it'll be good to see a few more of them out there. It is a very, very economic way of going racing. Then we go back to Westy in the Novus car. He had a win the other week. Absolutely ecstatic about the whole thing. I'd like to repeat it if he could. Another driver out there at the moment, 74T. It looks like it's Calvin Lott, who will be starting about row number 4 on the inside. And rounding out the field, we have 25T, Des McTaggart. Yes, he is related to the pole sitter. I think that's the dad of young Brad. And on the inside of the back row, 52T, Ben Ellis, another newbie to the category this year, did a great job. Again, a bit like Jonathan last week. Once they came to grip with it after a couple of races, they really started to move through the field. But I'd say if Fetu is back in his 616T car, I think Jeff and Ron are going to have someone on their hands tonight. So, as we wait for them to come round now, taking it nice and slowly, we just wait for the green flag down here in front of us and the green light. That should kick off, and we've given the green, and Brad gets a great start. That's Brad McTaggart. He's got Brad McKee next to him. We'll have to find a better way of talking about those two. I think it's McKee and Brad as they head down to turn number 2, and Fetu already up into 3rd position. Not far behind him, Jeff Friend. Ron Cooley slides there back into 5th with Westy not far behind him. Lott is the better of the last, and he's down into about 7th position. But it's definitely Brad who is out in front at the moment. Fetu up into 2nd position as they head down to 1 and 2, followed closely by Friend into 3rd. As McKee looks like he goes very wide down there into turn number 2, allowing Ronnie Cool to head up on the inside of him down into 3 and into 4. Track just a little bit rough through those parts of the circuit. But Fetu holding on to 2nd position under great pressure from Jeff Friend as they head down to 1 and 2. But it's the youngster out in front, Brad McTaggart, holding his cool. A young fella that's first time out there, slows down quite a lot. Oh, we've got a car on the wall just out of my vision. I had to stand on tippy toes to see that. And it is indeed 52T, Ben Ellis. Looks like a reasonably hard hit. Left-hand side of the car is well down. So definitely having a problem going into 3 and 4 as everybody gets themselves slowed down and under control. The crash crew straight across there. They'll make sure that he is A-OK. As I said, Ben, very new to the sport. That's a, I guess it's part of the learning curves of the incidents you're going to have out there on the track. So as we head back into the race, it is Brad McTaggart out in front, Fetu behind him, that's Jeff Friend, Ron Cooley back there as well. Then another newbie, looks like Mr. McPhee, who's made a very good trump on Ron Cooley as a green flag came out. Even might get him round the outside of turn 1. He's right up behind Fed. Oh, it's Westy in the 38T car. Looks like he's heading to the infield. So a bit of a problem for the Novus car. It's a shame to see. He's always a fierce competitor out there as we watch the youngster start to make a bit of a break here. And in the form of Brad McTaggart, he would have over Fetu, I would say, at least 5-6 car lengths. So he got a fantastic restart as we watch Friend not letting Ron Cooley get any traction as they head down into turn number 2, pulls away a little bit. And it's McKee who's round the outside in turn number 3. I don't think it's going to stick up there in the rough stuff as they head down to take lap number 4. And it's still Brad McTaggart out in front doing a great job. Fetu in the 616T car. He's gained on him now. There's only a couple in it. Jeff Friend just sitting there, watches what's going on. And then we've got to go back about another 4 or 5 cars to Ron Cooley, who's not quite on the pace here tonight. Then we go back to the young Brad McKee, who's doing a great job, the youngster. Then we go back to Des McTaggart in the 25T car, and it's Lott who will round them out as we watch McTaggart come under fire up the front in the 86T car. Fetu tried to go around the outside. He's got to be careful he doesn't open up the door for Friend. But it looks like McTaggart's just got a little bit more go down the back straight here in front of the pits. Fetu again trying to go around the outside of turn number 2. Has he got the legs to hold it down to 3? McTaggart's got the inside running. Fetu's got to back out of it a little bit, allowing Jeff Friend to get right up on his back bumper as they head down through turn number 3 and 4, last lap. So it's now or never. It's going to be for Brad McTaggart to hold on to first position and the wind. Again, Fetu looks like he's going to make a bit of a jump down into turn number 3. Can't make it stick. Oh, a bit of a wobble there by Brad McTaggart. It's slowed him down a little bit, but it's going to get over for the win. A great win from out the front by the youngster. Brad McTaggart in the 86T car brings it home from Fetu in the 616T. Then we go back to Friend, 11T. Then 21T of Ron Cooley in 4th position. Young Brad McKee did a great job to hold on to 5th. Des McTaggart back there in 6th. And then the last finisher was 7th position, 74T Lott. So a couple of retirees there in the middle of the field. Hopefully Westy can get back out. I'm not sure that that the other car will be fixed. It had looked like it was fairly terminal in the front of that. And if we look at some lap times, Fetu on a 19.9. Then we go to Jeff Friend on a 20 even. And then it's just about the same for young Brad McTaggart and Ron Cooley on a 20.3. Well, folks, out here at the moment, we have the 6 shooters lining up for their race number 2. And as I said, this competition couldn't be any tighter. So we'll just have to wait and see when they line up after they've done a bit more wheel packing. And as I said, just watching through turn 3 and 4 there with those Super Saloons. So it's getting a little bit rough, but these cars will pack that down reasonably quickly. And we will get, and we have got the board to go back to your original positions. So that's what they will do. And I think it's Finn Cleveland that we will see off the inside of the front row. Yes, in fact, it is. And we've got Gordon on the outside of the front row. So Gordon will be the one to control this race, and it sounds strange, but it's always the here it's the car number 2 that gets to launch. Must stay in line, obviously, with the other front car. So this should be a start for them as they head round now. So it'll be Emma Gordon in the 21I car right next to Finn Cleveland, who has got a brand new paint job for this year. I know we've got a yellow out, and I've got a feeling this may be to do with a bit of sunstrike. We'll just have to see. Just looking at Andy Erskines, the club president down there, taking over the clerk of the course job. I know we've got a car on the infield, a car being, back to what we were talking about. The car of Stronach has been pushed to the centre of the track, the 21 T car. So, bit of a shame to see that as we watch them coming around now, ready to get the green flag and the all clear to go. And it'll be Finn Cleveland to head them down. Emma Gordon on the outside doing a good job to hold it all together as they head down to 1 and 2. It looks like Blackner's managed to get out there on the 22 T car as well. So that gremlin has been sorted as they head down to turn 3 and 4, but it will be Finn Cleveland that would lead them round for the first lap here in the 6 shooter race number 2. Emma Gordon doing a great job in second position, followed not far behind by Brad Evans in the 33 T car as they head down the front straight this time. And it looks like that Finn Cleveland is certainly making himself a bit of a gap at the front as we watch Georgia Gordon doing a great job in 4th position and keeping it nice and tidy down into 1 and 2. A few of the cars there having a real fight as they head down. Manson, the winner of the first race, is being held up back there in 6th position. He's got hard charging Braden Cooper right behind him, but he's managing to keep it all clean as they head down to 1 and 2. A few positions being changed. Looks like Peter Keith has had a great run round the outside and turn number 2 to pick up a position off Georgia Gordon. So the places at the moment, we'll just wait for him to cross the line because it could be a little bit of a change with Evans trying to get round Emma Gordon, but doesn't manage to get it to stick. So it's Cleveland, Emma Gordon, then it goes back to Evans, Keith, Georgia Gordon, Manson trying very, very hard to try to get past Georgia as they head down into turn number 3 and 4. And it's a long way around the outside for Evans, but he does a great job to pass a couple of cars. And following him through as well was Manson in a bit of a charge in the 7C car from Christchurch. But it's definitely all down to Finn Cleveland. He's got about 4.2 second lead over the rest of the field as he heads down to collect lap number 6. And the real tussle is on for the 88C car of Keith as he heads down into 1 and 2. Still can't get past Emma Gordon as we watch Manson make a great move on Brad Evans through turn number 2 to pick up 4th position. So he's on a bit of a charge after having such a great run in that first race. As they head down for lap number 7, Finn Cleveland now out to 5.8 seconds from the rest of the field. And I tell you what, if you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, there's about a blanket to throw over that lot as they see Braden Cooper making a great move to come round into 5th position. He manages to get one over on Evans in the 33 T car, but it's Manson making a big dive on Keith, his fellow Cantabrian, as they head down into 2. And Keith makes a bit of a touch on the back of Emma Gordon and has to back out of it. Doesn't look like there's any damage. The front of the car leapt up off the ground as we watch the last lap flag come out. So he loses a couple of places after making a great charge through the field. So it would be Manson who came out on tops out of that tussle for 2nd position. And it is in fact Finn Cleveland who brings it home 6.7 seconds from a hard charging Manson who managed to get down to 6.3. Braden Cooper having another great run out there to bring it home in 3rd in the 28 T car. Then Emma Gordon did well to hold on to 4th. Peter Keith struggled there. That little bit of a touch sent him right back to 5th position. Brad Evans, he managed to bring it home in 6th. And then we're going to go back to Georgia Gordon doing a fantastic job to get up there into 7th position. Nice clean lines out there. Then we go, as we watch Cameron Reedy just lining up. It's not so hard to look behind you when you're strapped into one of these safety seats. But he's doing a reasonably good job just to line up. He's on the outside of row number 1. On the inside, we have Ben Smart in the 58 T car. So we're just going to have to watch him right behind another fierce competitor. Finchy is parked there in the 11D car. And the man to watch, I think, and I'm going to call it, is Lucas Erskine in the 91 T car. I think he's going to be straight out of the blocks, because a man who usually has the road to the front, Adam Evans, stuck towards the back of the pack there. So Travis is just walking down now, making sure that everybody else is A-OK and ready to run. All the thumbs up, his thumb will go up, and we will be ready to race in green, and no mucking around, away they go, and it's Ben Smart who gets a great start off there. Cameron Reedy just a little bit slow, but there he is. Lucas Erskine's heading around the inside straight into 2nd position from about 5th or 6th. So the charge is on very, very early as they head down to turn number 3 on lap number 1. coming into turn number 4, and it's Ben Smart who's managing to hold out the front at the moment, but I'm not sure how long he's going to hold on to that position with a 91T car right on his back bumper. So a great effort straight out of the box as they head down towards turn number 2. Everybody's strung out a bit. There's probably 2 or 3 car lengths in it as we watch Colvin in the 42 car have a bit of a moment out of turn 2. Makes the a trip to the infield, but gathers it all up again reasonably easy. As they head down now, and it's still Ben Smart who manages to hold it all together down into turn number 2. Erskine trying all he can to get round the outside. And another Finch in the 18D car is trying very hard to get onto the back of this train, and he's managed to do it. So there could be a big lunge as they head down towards 1 and 2. Erskine to the inside. Ben Smart sort of opened the door up there. You'd hope to think the outside line's quicker as he watches 2 of them go past him down into turn number 1 through to 2. So Lucas Erskine is out in the front. Ben Smart relegated to 3rd position. And it's Finchy in the 18D car who's done a great job just to follow Erskine through there, who has a little bit of a moment and loses a bit of space, but is holding 2nd position reasonably well. Then we go back to the 13T car of Marcus Scott, 15D from Dunedin Anderton. Then we have Brad Evans. Back to Keely Erskine there in the 19T car. Last time's winner, number 7T, back there in 9th, George Headley. He's managing to hold it quite nicely as they head down into turn 3 and 4 again. But it's definitely Lucas Erskine who's starting to make a bit of a break on Finchy as they head down to 1 and 2. Ben Smart dropping 4, 5, 6 car lengths back. It'll be interesting to see if Anderton can do anything with Smart as they head down the back straight. Marcus Scott, he's not giving us all his own way as we watch Josh Evans, who had a little bit of a trouble in the beginning of that race, doing a great job just to keep himself nice and tidy. As I said, it's all about being as smooth as possible round here. Oh, it looks like Erskine's had a bit of a problem out of 2. He's dropped back in position, so we watch Colvin slow down in front of the commentary box. Is going to have to take to the infield. But it looks like Erskine went very, very wide into turn 2 and let Finchy, 18D, just slide down the inside of him. So he's got all the hard work to do now as they head through 1 and 2. Lucas Erskine won't be happy with himself there. I thought he pretty much had that one in the bag as they head down into turn number 3 and 4. Ben Smart's probably nearly 8, 9 car lengths back. Then we go back to Anderton in 15D. Marcus Scott is in 4th position in the 13K as Erskine is trying everything he possibly can to catch the back of that 18D car. They're coming across a little bit of traffic. I'm not sure it's going to worry him too much. This is the last lap. This will be the checkered flag for 18D for Finchy as he comes across. Erskine right on his back bumper. He goes left, he goes right behind the back marker. But no, it's 18D who's going to pull that one out. And that was just a small mistake. As I said, you've got to keep it clean with these cars. You can't rely on the horsepower to get you out of a problem. And Erskine found the problem in turn number 2. I'd say he'd be kicking himself. He will bounce back, no problem whatsoever. But it was definitely a great win. Finchy, 18D from Dunedin. Coming home behind them was 58D. Ben Smart. Then we had to go back to Anderton in 4th position. Marcus Scott brings us home in 5th. Then we have the Evans duo of 33T, Josh Evans. Then we're followed by 28T, Adam Evans. Keely Erskine's great job in 7th position. Then we have 7T, George Headley in 8th. Back to Cameron Reedy in 9th. And then another Finch, Ashley back there in 10th. And as we said, 42T Colvin having to pull off into the centre of the track there, back in 11th position. Fastest driver out there, in fact, was Erskine's on a 21.6. Then we go back to Anderton, who was on a 21.7. And then we slide into Ben Smart, who was on a 22.15. I would have to be picking that Finchy would have been in amongst that mix as well. But again, we have no lap times for him. Obviously, a bit of a transponder problem. So we'll have to see if they can get that fixed. It also helps to know some of these drivers and just how fast they are driving.
Okay, folks, of course, here we are at Central Motor Speedway. If you want to be part of the action here, you go on to our Facebook channel and just put your comment in there, and we'll be more than happy to share it with the world. Be a part of the action here at the Mag and Turbo Super Cup and get your comments online. All you got to do is just type some crap in there, and more than likely, we're going to play it out for you. Let's return back to Mike Cinch, the commentator from Central Motor Speedway, as the Saloons are getting ready very shortly to come onto the track.
So we're just watching the the heavy tracks hire water truck heading to the centre of the track. And again, a massive thank you to the team down there at Heavy Tracks for being such a massive sponsor of the Central Motor Speedway. Great to see the involvement they have year after year. Another couple of VIP corporate sponsors that we have out there. ITM, a big thank to ITM, and they got that enthused about the Speedway that they've built their own corporate area just on the top of turn number 2 as well. There's the Central Motor Speedway. Central Southland Freight out of Winton. Thank you guys down there for looking after us. And New Road Civil over there in Queenstown. Without these sponsors, we couldn't hold such an amazing meeting. And also, folks, if you do see some of these cars coming past with sponsors on them, or you see sponsors around the track, next time you're looking for a service or a product, try one of those first and mention that you saw them here at the Heavy Track Central Motor Speedway. It goes a long way to helping those drivers and the committee here at the Speedway to gain the funding and the sponsorship they need for that season or for the next season. It's just a small way of helping out all of the competitors and the committee that put on this fantastic show for you in front of you here tonight. Well, we have the Saloons coming out for their second running tonight. And we'll have to see how this all pans out as we wait for them to jostle into position. But again, I'd have to say my money is on Terry Soper, not wanting to put the commentator's curse on him at all, but he had an absolutely sensational run in that last race. Mike Verdona, I'd keep your eyes out on him as well, 25T. He's never one to shy away from giving it heaps. Though I'm just looking out there now to see if I can actually see Mike Verdona. He might still be parked up in the... Oh, no, there he is going through turn number 2. Spied him. So that's great. Another competitor out there, which is always good to see him out there, is Graham Williamson from X Factor Cars. Does so much for the Speedway. In fact, he is sponsoring the group number C in the Super Saloons here tonight. So a big thank you to Graham and the team there at X Factor Cars. Long-time supporters. Always good to have those sort of people on board. So a bit more wheel packing going on out there at the moment as we watch George Phillips' 47D car come past us, heading down to turn number 1 and 2. Is just pointing, Travis, just pointing out where he needs to be. And if you want to get into it, looks like 8T is for sale. So go and see James Robinson and see if you can buy his car off him. And again, if you want to get involved in Speedway, please just go and talk to the drivers and the crews. They'll let you know all of what it's about. And from memory, I think they're telling me that a Saloon car, for example, which we've decided isn't that much slower than the big boys, is around about 30 to 50 grand to have a second-hand car and a trailer. And as long as you don't have too many accidents during the season, that's about what you're going to be up for, to run one of these cars out there and have the opportunity to show what you have up against some pretty fierce competitors. Matt Green, that new Mustang body car looks absolutely sensational. Bit of a shame to see the old Falcon body gone, but Matt has chosen still in the blazing white and blue, but he has chosen to go down the Mustang body route just like the supercars are going to do. So it's good to see a few of them out there tonight. So as Travis runs over to grab the original grid position board and get everybody shuffled into position, we'll just see where some of these drivers are going to start. So the next meeting coming up will be the Valvoline Holden Trade Club Saloon Speed Week round number 6. Now, this was an idea that a man I think most Kiwis know. A few people don't know that he was actually a Speedway driver. Stephen Williams, ex-caddy for Tiger Woods, is the organiser and promoter of this. There are 4 cars that will be represented. Phil Burgess, Graham Williamson, Ivan Murdoch and Barry Taylor. As we wait for the cars to get the 1-lap signal, will be the representatives for Cromwell in that Valvoline Holden Trade Club Saloon Speed Week. It's a bit of a hard work. You get a couple of rounds in Christchurch, one after the other on the 30 in the first. Then they go to Greymouth, then down to Invercargill. Then they go to Dunedin, and then here at Cromwell for the 2 rounds. So it's a bit of hard work. So the 8th and the 9th of December, we'll see that being run off in the final. So they've had a hard run, but well worth to come and see those boys and cheer them on from Cromwell, representing us in the Speed Week. As we wait for the green flag down here in front of us to go, and it's a clean start by everybody, and it definitely was. George Phillips on the inside gets a hard rub by Graham Williamson as he goes past down into turn number 2, and there's Terry Soper on the outside, the hard charging number 8D. He's got Verdona right there behind him as Barry Soper he just goes right round the outside. Great move by Terry as he heads out of turn number 4 and flies past the cars in front of him. Can he make it stick? Looks like that's going to be George Phillips that's going to hold him off. No, he has to slow through turn number 2. It catches a few of the drivers out as Terry Soper has got a clean track in front of him. He is out on that high line. There's probably a few cars that could take a note of that. A very, very quick way around the track tonight as we watch Raymond Phillips, a 17D car, head to the infield. Obviously a bit of a problem with him as Terry seems to get 7, 8, 9 car lengths just so quickly as he goes out of turn number 2. Mike Verdona trying to get past George Phillips for second position. Has got a hard charging Graham Williamson right in behind him. So it's going to be a case of Verdona around the outside of turn number 1 and 2. Can't make it stick, tries to go the crossover and it doesn't work, has to back out of it. So all this is doing is letting Terry Soper get away a little bit further. As in fact we watch Raymond Phillips rejoin in the 17D car. So obviously not too much of a problem. He was just on the infield talking to the clerk of the course, and that gap to Soper has come down a little bit. It was over 3 seconds. It was down to 2.7 last. So it looks like George Phillips is having a bit of a run at him. He's left Verdona back there by 2-3 car lengths, and another couple back to Williamson with the 21T car, and there's a whole chunk back to Ivan Murdoch, probably 10-11 car lengths. As Ivan goes a little bit wide into turn 1 and 2, and just about under him was Robinson, but he couldn't make it stick. Phil Burgess, who had a bit of a bad luck in that first one, is making up for it now as he's on the back of Robinson, heading through turn number 4. But it's definitely Soper, and there's a big tussle going on down here as Verdona goes right round the outside of George Phillips down there into number 2. So he's up in the second position. Can he do anything over the very, very fast Soper out in front? It was 3.7 seconds last time around. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit closer at this, not by much. So it looks like Verdona's got all the work to do in the 25T car as they head down towards 3 and 4 again. But George Phillips not giving up, although he slipped back a couple of car lengths from Verdona. And Williamson looking for a way past as they head down to turn 1 and 2. We'll see what that lap time has come down by about another half a second. So Mike Verdona on a really big charge as Terry Soper comes across the back of a slowing Raymond Phillips in the 17D car. He seems to slide past it pretty quick. Last lap to go. Verdona's only got to hold out. Phillips, who's trying very hard to get past it, comes within a car length down under number 2. As indeed looks like it's going to be Raymond Phillips heading towards the centre of the track. So obviously a problem with their car as a checkered flag comes out for 8D, the ever-charging, hard, fast-charging Terry Soper, who takes that one out from Mike Verdona. Then we'll go back to George Phillips, then Graham Williamson. Ivan Murdoch brings it home. Very, very close fought run there. And it will be James Robinson who will bring it home after Murdoch. Then we'll have to go back to Phil Burgess to see out most of the cars at the front. Greer in there as well, and the 88D car of Jason Gold rounds them out for that running. So only one retiree, and that was 17D. Hopefully they can get that car going. Raymond Phillips has had a pretty good night so far. And over behind the water truck I've just spied, and I couldn't see him coming past. It's Matt Green and the Mustang, who's had a problem out there as well, slipped behind the water truck out of sight. So 2 retirees out of that Saloon race. Second for the night. So another good stack of points for Club Championship there from Terry Soper. He's definitely going to be the car to watch in the next heat. And going by his grid starts, I should think that would be more to the back of the field. So we'll have to see if he can charge through. So that was a second round of the Saloons. We're looking for the cars that go the wrong way. The street stocks are up next. So again, folks, as I was saying, if you want to volunteer, be involved in the Speedway, jump on the website, contact them through the Facebook page. It's always great. It's always good to see them. And even if it's a good comment, it doesn't have to be something that you want to get better, but if it's a good comment, you like the place, you think it's fantastic, let them know. They always like that sort of support at any Speedway around New Zealand. So just waiting, as I said, I haven't heard anything out of heat number 2. There were a few drivers down behind us here at the protest room having a few words with the referee, but as far as I know, all the placings are held, so the results are as they were. So that is done and dusted. So we're just waiting for Travis now to head down these street stocks, and we'll see if there's any payback coming from that first race they had. There was a fair amount of unceremonious dismissals into the infield and into the wall in that last race as Travis gives a thumbs up. There'll be a green light very, very quickly and green flag, just waiting for it now. A little bit of a hesitation as they wait for Travis to get clear and safe. As we saw, these cars certainly do go a long way to the infield as we watch straight off some action right down in front of us. 46D straight in the inside of 73D. Another car that seems to be in all sorts of problems tonight and looks like they are joined at the hip. These two cars down in front of me, that's the 3NZ car and the 47D car. Whatever was wrong with lots 3NZ, he's managed to get it fixed because he's out there again, less the smoke. But it's a 555D car, LJ Hooker sponsored car of Lavender, who is out in front at the moment and doing a great job to keep it nice and clean. A little bit of argy-bargy going on down the back, and we've got a car that looks very worse for wear, and that is a very, very big puncher in the back of the 31V car of Bland, who is still managing to circulate. Although I think he may get come in. Oh, there's a lot of action down into turn number 1 the wrong way. And again, 47D is facing horizontal across the track, manages to get out of the way as the cars start to file through 2 into 1. Remember, they're going in the opposite direction. A little bit hard to call, but we'll try our best. It was 345D that was also involved in that bit of carnage down there. Jenkins, I think, started the problem down into turn number 1. And the big panel van, 74, who did such a great job in the last one, is managing to hold on to 4th position. So another great effort as he tries to get round Helm at the moment, but heads out towards the wall. You need eyes in the back of your head round here to watch all the action going on. It's a massive hit right down in front of it. In fact, a tyre has come off a car as the 3NZ has got massive damage to the left-hand front of it. It just lined up the next car and sent it into the wall. And it was 345D of Jenkins that came off worst. He has lost the right rear tyre completely off that car. And if I've got to be on, I can see it up against the wall. I was going to say I couldn't see it there for a sec. So 345 still managing to go round the big Falcon with no tyre on the right rear. And we look at it, 46D, there's a lot of steam coming out of that car. I would say 3NZ is going no further tonight. Massive damage to the left-hand front of that car. 31V on the other side of the track, parked up as well, Bland. He had a bit of a problem with a tyre issue. As we watch a few more of the cars down here, trying to get into each other. 47D, major problems there, I think, with that car. And it's another puncher on the right. Not going too fast, too far. Managing to circulate. Oh, it's 46D turned around by 417. Giles just gave them the big boot. And he gets a bit of his own back down the back straight. But it looks like it's 55D Lavender who has managed to keep it absolutely clean, keeping away from all the trouble, managing not to let anybody line him up. As we watch another car make to the infield, and that will be 46D. For Morris. He's had all the issues tonight, bashed and biffed in every direction. Heads to the infield as he goes through turn number 4. And it's definitely 555 out in the front doing a great job. Although he comes under fire now by 17D. 345's looking at giving him a bit of a hard time as a white flag comes out. 555 just gets rid of the car in front of him and says, I'm coming through. He doesn't want to give up too much room. He's got 73D in second position. He's a straight behind him as he comes to collect the checkered flag. So a great clean run by the ALJ Hooker sponsored 555D of Lavender. followed home by 73D, which simply has K written to it at the scoreboard. 74D would be the big panel van. I think is having one of the better runs, although race winner 341 Henderson comes home in 4th position. Some of the lap times out there, they're doing about a 21-second lap, so they're not mucking around, but there was way more carnage in that race, and I would say at least 2 of them are gonna need a tow truck. As we even watch the back of Henderson's car, looks like he's got a puncher on the left rear. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the street stocks, ever exciting. So they're gonna, great camaraderie. They start trying to push each other off the track. So the street stocks, a great effort out there to keep it all clean and tidy. They're going the wrong way around the track, as we said, but it doesn't seem to hinder them at all. Looks like we might have a little bit of a hold up in proceedings here at the moment. So we've got a couple of graders heading out on the track. I'm sure they're not going to go hammer and tongs at it. I know Pete McKenzie, the track manager of the first one, can certainly handle one of these machines, but I'm sure this is just to try and just smooth out some of those ruts in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Remember, folks, the rain that has been down in the South Island that came through sort of midweek was just out of the ordinary for this region, and I know the team work very, very hard out there on the track to make sure it is perfect for every single race meeting. But when Mother Nature puts down that much water, it just doesn't go anywhere. These clay surfaces, of course, it's a special clay that they put down there, and too much water, as we've seen a result of the ground starting to run up, mainly because of these skinnier tyres on the street stocks, on the production cars, the youth mini stocks, and some of these cars do make it run up a bit. So the boys are out there in their graders. I'm not sure they're going to need to put too much more water down. The sun, it's probably another 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes from disappearing down behind sort of Mount Michael over that way towards Queenstown. And then a bit more of the moisture will start coming out of the track. Finchy in the 18D car from Dunedin on the outside. So just wait for the last two cars to line up. Smart's going to be on the inside of the back row. Haven't seen his potential tonight, I don't think. He said been a little bit untidy in some of the corners. I think that's what it's hurt him a little bit. Lucas Erskine is off the inside of row number 2. Then we go out to Anderton, 15D. He's the outside of row number 2. Erskine on the inside. Travis just having a talk to Keeley, I think, down there in the 19T car. Keeley Erskine doing a great job of learning the craft, and it is definitely a craft that they have to learn, as I said, to get these cars to go as quick as possible. Looks like Colvin has made it back out onto the track, which is great to see. Ella in the 42T car didn't make the finish of that last race. It just fires past a couple of the back of cars. Headley back there as well in the 7T car. The thumb goes up, the green flag, the green light. Oh, and it's Finchy with a great start in the 18D car as they head down to turn 1 and through to turn number 2. Oh, there's cars everywhere. Cameron Reedy, an aggressive start right on the back of Evans as he gives him a bit of a push through turn number 2. So Josh Evans helped his way through there by Cameron Reedy, who was keen to get that car up near the front of this pack. It's only his second season running out there at the moment as we watch Finchy take it out. Cody Finch out in the front in the 18D car. Marcus Scott doing a great job in the 13T car next. Bit of a tussle there for third and fourth, and it looks like Anderton has won it over Erskine as they head down into turn number 3. And there's going to be a whole lot of cars trying to vie for that first position. And it's bumper to bumper as they head down into turn 1 and 2. And it's only Cody Finch by a bumper as a big lunge by Anderton to try to get past into turn number 2. Didn't come off. In fact, he's probably lost a car or 2 length. Marcus Scott has got Lucas Erskine all over the back bumper there as he tries to slide down the inside of turn number 4. Looks like he's managed to get that stick. As we look at Cameron Reedy's car, it's got a bit of either a bit of steam or a bit of smoke coming out of it. We'll keep an eye on that one in the 22 car as we watch him come round now to take up lap number 4. And it's Cody Finch who's just managing to hold on to first position, but he's got a hard charging Anderton trying to go around the inside. Erskine trying to go around the outside as they come down now the back straight. He's managing to hold his own as they head down into turn 1 and 2. He will know they're there. So looks like Cameron Reedy's getting a bit of an indication to head to the centre of the field. I'm not sure if he saw that. Maybe he did. Obviously, the crew spotted a bit of a problem with that car, and he has indeed gone to the centre of the field as we watch him come across for lap number 5. This is closer than close at the moment with Cody Finch managing to hold on to first position. Anderton just holding off Erskine. He gets a huge punt from behind just to let him know he was there. Erskine didn't really have anywhere to go, and Anderton did slow going through turn number 2. It's not supposed to be contact, but sometimes you just have nowhere to go. And when these cars do collide, being steel on steel, it is a bit of a jolt to the body. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that battle. It is staying 1, 2, 3, 4 as Erskine makes a move out of turn number 2. Nice move. As we saw Anderton go a little bit wide, but they're not giving win. And Adam Evans seems to be slowing on the outside of the track, certainly not going as quick as we've seen him before, as the cars come across to collect lap number 7. And they're heading down there. Erskine wants a go at Finch, gives him another little of a push through turn number 2. He's going to have to watch doing that too much. The referees will pull these drivers up on that sort of contact. As we see them come through 3 and 4 now, it's bumper to bumper still for 18D. Last lap flag, 18D, Cody Finch. Then Lucas Erskine tries to go around the outside through 1 and 2. Anderton just hanging on the back there. Then when to go back to Marcus Scott in the 13T car as Erskine heads up the inside. Around the outside, sorry, as he heads down into turn number 3 and turn number 4. Can he get it to stick? This is going to be for the checkered flag. He might just be able to do it. He's not giving in. And looks like it is indeed. No, it says that Cody Finch manages to hold on to that one. I thought across the pole line down there that Erskine had it. He was probably out a little bit wide through turn number 4. So the official results, until they've been officially officialed, is going to be 18D, Cody Finch. Then go to 91T, Lucas Erskine's. Then we go back to 15D and Anderton. Then 13T, Scott. Smart manages to hold on to 5th position, and a great run off the back for George Headley, who started on the was on the outside of the last row, brings it up into 6th. Then we go back to Keely Erskine doing a great job. Then Ella Colvin in 9th position in 42T. Then we go back to the other Finch in 11D. And as I said, Adam Evans way back there in 11th in the 28T car. Cameron Reedy, the only DNF there. As we saw the steam coming out of that car. So I'm not quite sure what has happened there, but they're pushing the car back to the pits. His crew did a great job of spotting what the problem there was. And it looks like a bit of damage to the front of Josh Evans' 33T car.
Everyone is looking for a little edge. Our local business tech experts come to you to help you find yours. Spark. Little can be huge.
Drop in and see the team at Spark Business Southland at 239 D Street in Invercargill, or call them on 0800 784 482, or Spark Business Canterbury Hub at 392B Rustley Road, Christchurch. Call them on 0800 246 027.
What you think you do with your four-wheel drive, what you actually do with your four-wheel drive.
No matter what you do with your four-wheel drive, we've got the right tyre for you. So come on down to Mag and Turbo.
So what do? We supply hose and fittings and skill to get equipment up and running.
We're a one-stop shop, lubrication, fire suppression and hydraulics. The service that we provide, there's no other company that can do it and do it as well as we do.
We've got 8 branches in New Zealand, 70 distributors, 130 service technicians and vans. We're also in Australia, but within New Zealand we've been here a long time and we are the market leader.
For any powder coating job, no matter the size, Invercargill's powder line can deliver the desired professional finish, specialising in powder coating and thermoplastic coating for any aluminium or steel items. Powder line services are suitable for both domestic and commercial purposes with 2 large ovens on site. Powder line can powder coat anything from mag wheels, car parts, gates, sprint car frames to house flashings, garden seats and aluminium window frames. With 280 colours on site for customers to choose from, we have access to thousands more, which are available by order. Give the friendly office staff a call to book your job in now.
Well, here we are, folks. The last saloon race for this evening. And we'll just have to see how this one is going to pan out. They've had some great action out on track. They're always awesome to watch these cars out there. As we said, there's only 450 to 500 horsepower in these cars, not like they're the bigger super saloons with up to 820 horsepower and only 1.5 seconds slower. So a great effort by these drivers to get these cars around the 500 metre track in those sort of times. As we just wait for them to line up. Looks like James Robinson is going to be off the front. Phil Burgess has got himself towards the pointy end of the grid this time. As we see, as I said, Phil's had plenty of experience. Does a great job behind the scenes here as well, looking after the saloon cars. Someone's got to keep all these drivers in check. And it's a great thanks to all of the drivers through all of the classes who have travelled here tonight to compete. It's much appreciated. We know it's sometimes a long way to come, coming from Christchurch and Invercargill and Dunedin and further afield. So it's great to see them making the effort. I certainly know some of the local drivers here in Cromwell certainly make the effort to go and visit other tracks. So just a bit more wheel packing, as I said, 18 for sale. go down there and have a chat to Mr. Robinson and see if he's keen to have that car sold to you. Sorry, just had one of the Midas Speedway officials. Folks, remember, just make sure that your headlights are off, even your park lights. There's a couple of cars over there. Just means that the drivers don't get distracted while they're firing themselves around this track. So if you could just turn those headlights off, and thank you for that one. And there's one more up there on the top of turn 3. You know, sometimes these modern cars, they just come on randomly. Sorry, folks, just dealing with a bit of technical things with the team from the Pits Motorsport TV, doing a great job here tonight to fire this out on Facebook Live, which is absolutely awesome. Jason goes around the country allowing people to see what's going on at all the Speedway circuits. So if you can't make it to a meeting, make sure you jump on the Pits Motorsport TV Facebook page and watch Facebook Live. As we see them lining up now, Terry Soper, I think he's going to have a great shot out of the inside of row number 2. Phil Burgess there, sitting on the outside of row number 1. Let's see what Phil can do as they come round now. Looks like they're ready and waiting to take the green flag and green light. And away they go on this one, and Phil Burgess with an absolutely great start. So as away they go now through down into turn number 3 and 4. Phil Burgess is out in front, followed by Robinson. It looks like a very hard charging, and I want to get to the front. Greer out there at the moment in the 33 car. Soper tied himself up back there in 4th position. Well, looks like Mike Verdona had to take to the pole line on the inside of number 2 to get past Ivan Murdoch, and it's taken him all the way to 3 to do it, through to number 4. Burgess starting to come under a little bit of pressure now from Robinson, who tries and looks like he might just make it stick through number 2. Oh, he does without making contact with Burgess. Burgess had to go around the long way, so it looks like it's Robinson out in front, and then it'll go back to Phil Burgess. And then Soper will slide himself into 3rd position. Mike Verdona into 4th, which means Greer falls back to 5th. It looks like Verdona wanted to have a shot at Soper down into 2. Didn't make it stick at all. Everybody playing nicely out there at the moment as they come through 3 and 4. Robinson under increasing pressure from Soper going round the long way. But we know there's a bit of grip out on that high line tonight as they head down to 1 and 2. Soper down a drag race down to 3. Robinson's not giving up. He's going to push him out nice and wide, meaning that Verdona and Burgess have a chance to close the gap. Soper on the outside makes it stick out of 4 down the back straight, although Robinson's down the inside into 1 and into 2, but no, Soper drag races him down, and Verdona wants to go. He slides, try to slide around the outside as well. Robinson under all sorts of fire at the moment. He's got Burgess lining up there as well as they head down into 1 and 2 for lap number 6. And it's definitely Soper from Verdona, but I tell you what, Robinson's not giving up. The 8T car falls back a bit now. If he goes much further, he's going to fall on the clutches of Burgess, who's doing a great job. Then we go back to Greer. Then Graham Williamson and Ivan Murdoch going hammer and tongs as Ivan Murdoch has to take to the infield. Manages to keep it straight down the back straight and get back on safely. That could have got pear-shape as Verdona gets right on the back of Soper as they head down to 3 and 4. There's only a car in it. Almost contact as they get through 4. Soper under increasing pressure. That's lap number 8 as they head down to 1 and 2. The rest of the field falling back on these front runners. And it's Soper. He'll know that Verdona's there. Verdona makes a bit of a lunge into 3. Can't make it stick. And oh, looks like Matt Green has got a big problem with the right front of that car. It looks like collapsed suspension as they head down into turn number 1 and 2 on lap number 9. As they come down the back straight, it's Soper, Verdona's desperately trying to get past. He just can't make it stick. As Burgess has a run at Robinson, they're probably 10 or 11 car lengths back now. The rest of the field shuffling in behind the best of them. Graham Williamson in the 21T car as they head down the front straight now into turn number 3. Soper just managing to hold on there. They're trading fastest laps as they come round for the last lap flag now. Heading down to 1 and 2. Can Verdona do it? He's only got a couple of corners to go. Soper trying so hard to stay out in front and keep it clean. Down to turn number 3, and it looks like it's Soper's got it. Oh, Verdona's fully sideways. Has to take to the infield. Overcooked it. And hands the win to Terry Soper in the 8D car. What a great race. Then we go back to Robinson, Phil Burgess. And it looks like Williamson got in there before Ivan Murdoch. Then we're going to have to go back to George Phillips. Then Jason Gold. So Matt Green's night comes to a premature end on the infield. He's trying to drive it away. I'm not sure he can. Definitely something has collapsed in the right front of that car. The wheel moving around all over the place. That is the Saloon cars. So there you go, folks. That's the Saloon car racing over for this evening. It's always tight at the front. Oh, Verdona, he just almost had that one. It just got it a little bit too far sideways. So a bit of a shame to see that. watching. If you don't have to rush home, please come down and see these drivers. Well, street stocks are off and away. At this time, they're going in the right direction. So they are going to turn left. And it looks like a great start by a couple of cars. Oh, the big panel van gets into trouble early, slams hard in the back of a couple of cars out there. And one of the cars that was doing oh so well early on in the form, and I'm not even sure the driver 73D, it's just got K written next to it, heads out into the front. So a great run there. The 34i car of Henderson, who has cleaned up a couple of these. Looks like, oh, and he's out there. The 3NZ car, we've got a red. We've got a red, folks. It looks like there was a fairly big contact over there through 3 and 4. So they've put the reds out and all the cars must stop as quickly as they possibly can. And that looks like it was a reasonably big hit over there. We'll get the crash crews just to check out and make sure the driver is all right. I was just going to mention that, in fact, and I put the cod wash on it pretty quick, that the 3NZ car wouldn't be out there again, the Falcon, but it is. And instantly, not even on the first lap, involved in a bit of contact over there in turn number 2 with the 21 car. So, looks like that's all been sorted out. And basically, the cars will stay where they are. And when the greens go, they will start again. As we just watch the crash crew over there picking up maybe a bit of debris. Last thing you want to find out there on the track, especially with the big 30-lap feature coming up. So now they've got that done and dusted. We will be green, and away they go, just like that, folks. If you weren't ready, you better be, as we watch Henderson over the other side get a bit of a push start. He loses 3 or 4 places. A few of them are starting to go wild. The last race winner, 55D, big tank slapper by the Falcon. Down the back straight, manages to hold it together. The LJ Hooker car looks like Henderson. He's either trying to hinder or be helped as he comes down through number 3. No, he's away now. And the 34i car, a heap of smoke starting to come from the front of that. So we'll just keep an eye on the big panel van. Doing so well in second position at the moment. 74D looks like driving, and 33R holding on to third position as they come around now, and it's telling me that 3NZ is managing to hold on to fifth. There's more contact. 555D I should say, with a heap of payback over on the front straight there. It's not going to help his chances out there, but by jeepers, he's doing a great job. As everybody calmly as possible is starting to go around the track. A few of the cars starting to slow down. More smoke coming from the 34i car. And looks like it's going to be a huge contact as the 3NZ car again has problems. Sparks flying off one car as it was up against the wall. But everybody getting going again in the right direction. Looks like there's no casualties completely from this race. The 47D car looks like it's not going to go much further. Just managing to circulate. Maybe looking to line someone else up as 555D has a big tank slapper going down the front straight. Manages to negotiate turn number 2. Oh, there's a big pile up over in turn number 2. A couple of cars don't look like, oh, no, they're away and going again, so everyone's clear. Some of the smells starting to waft into the commentary position. Don't smell that good. There's some pain going on out there in these cars. It's sort of a rubbery, oily smell. We'll just have to wait and see. There's a few cars starting to emit a bit of smoke. One taking to the infield. And that looks like it's going to be brought to a bit of a halt. The 88D car with very little left in the right rear corner as we watch. And I think it's Henderson as well. Not much left in the left rear corner, down to the rim. That looks like another tyre has departed. I'm not quite sure how much further that car's going to go. White flag is out. Oh, big hit from the 74 and the 555D car, the panel van. Doing an outstanding job out in first position. Can he bring the big camo-coloured Falcon home? Had a great run. Oh, another car off the infield. It's 34i again, Henderson. but it will be the 74D, the big Falcon panel van. Brings it home in first position. Looks like everybody but 88D finished that one. And I've got to say, there was some big damage out there tonight, but all these cars managed to get back out on the grid. They obviously worked reasonably hard, and there's still a couple going at it. It looks like Henderson wasn't happy, and he's given 47D a bit of a late crunch. But I'll tell you, the back of 34i, there is absolutely nothing left on the left rear wheel. In fact, the rim, I'm sure, is about to depart the vehicle. Similar 88D, opposite side, right rear.
Right, folks.
Well, we're just still waiting for the crash crews to make sure that all of the debris, and I mean all of it, there was a bit coming off a lot of the cars out there with some of the heavy hits, is off the track. Once all that green light goes on that one, we will have the production cars out for their last race. And it looks like from the dummy grid, we will see Jeff Friend and Ron Cooley off the back of this grid with all the work to do. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. The cameraman out there on the track who is working for the Pits Motorsport TV has seen a spring or something out on the track between turns 3 and 4. So might just have to get one of the officials over there, or maybe it's already been picked up, but great spotting by the cameraman over there as we wait for the production cars. It looks like they're going to be unleashed, and they certainly will be. And it's going to be Jeff Friend right off the back as Fetu makes the best start round the outside, heading down to 1 and 2. He done a great start. Looks like Des McTaggart has it out there in front of the moment, but it's not going to be for long as the 616 is going to slide down round the outside of him into turn 3 and 4. Oh, and big contact as we see Ron Cooley in the wall. That was a big hit over there. I just wasn't looking. I'm not sure if he made contact with anybody else to fire him in there. But that was a big hit up against the wall. So Ron Cooley will end his night on the 21T car parked up, as we also watch Westy in the 38T car, the Nova-sponsored car, head to the centre of the field as well. So, folks, we're just still getting reports that there was a bit of debris out there on the pole line, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens after this race as it gets restarted. And Fetu is going to try to go round the outside of McTaggart as they head through turn number 2 down to turn number 3. It's a great tussle out there at the moment. Friend fighting hard to try to get to the front of the pack. Des McTaggart is not going to give Fetu an inch as they come through turn number 4. Heading down to turn number 1 and 2. They're side by side. They've gone that way for just over a lap now. As Des McTaggart will know he's there, he's not going to give him any room to pass. And Fetu's going to have to work round the outside as Jeff Friend takes lot for 3rd place. And I'd say Friend's going to try to go around the inside of these two as they run wide a little bit. But it's definitely Friend fighting hard in 3rd position. He might even try to split them in 2 and go down the middle. But no, Des McTaggart runs wide, pushing Fetu out as Jeff Friend tries to send himself down the inside into 3. He might just get it to stick. Oh no, the door's closed by Des. So he's going to have to work hard now. Des goes a little bit wide out of 4, but drags the other 2 cars with him as they head down to 1. Fetu, they've still run side by side for a couple of laps now as Des gets the upper hand and runs a little bit wider through 2, forcing him out there. But it looks like Friend's going to get 2nd position. Des is now in a sandwich as they head through 3 and into 4. Oh, Jeff Friend, nice move round the inside to take 1st position. Fetu still working out hard on the outside. Des McTaggart did a great job right up until turn number 2, where Fetu slides past him, and now he's going to have to chase down Friend as he heads down to 3 and 4. This will be lap number 6 of 8, so not many to go now. Can Fetu do it? He's gone to the inside, tries to take the short line down to turn number 1. As he heads round into turn number 2, he's right underneath him as Calvin Lott slows and heads to the infield. Bit of a problem with that car. So not many out there at the moment, and one car that didn't make the start was Brad McTaggart as we watch Friend. He's getting hounded by Fetu. Oh, last lap flag was a little bit slow there. As they head round into turn 1 and 2, I'm not sure the first 2 cars saw it. They will certainly see the checkered flag. As the production cars wind up their night here at the Central Motor Speedway, it is going to be Friend in his usual position out the front, takes a checkered flag. Fetu home in second place. Then we go back to Des McTaggart, who fought so hard for most of that race and couldn't make it stick. Then it's going to be Brad McKee will be the last runner, 4 left. So we got a heat that didn't finish. Kelvin Lott pulled to the infield.